Hi everyone, and welcome back to Baiskeli Stories. We're back with you for yet another exciting episode. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing Titus Muya, and he'll tell us more about himself. But we're basically talking to our older folks, hearing about what they're doing about their wellness, their fitness, how they're staying intentionally active, even in their sunset years. So, as always, I'm here with Rose.
Hi, everybody.
And we're looking forward to hearing more. So, TK, welcome to Baiskeli Stories.
So, I think you can start us off by telling us more about yourself, your background. When were you born? Let's start from there.
Wow. Like I said at the beginning, all feel welcome. My name is TK. I'm about 82 years old now, and I come from my original home is in the rural areas, a place known as Gataka in the Githunguri sub-county of Kiambu County. That's where I grew up from, and that's why I started going to school many years ago.
Okay. Good. And so today you're a retired businessman, and how are you keeping yourself busy in these days?
Yes, I am. I don't know whether to say retired or have retired businessman, despite my age, because despite my age, I'm still active business-wise, although in a smaller way.
Okay.
I don't go to offices to make decisions or sign anything.
Right.
I just go to participate in business discussions and give my ideas. But yes, I am a retired businessman.
Okay.
How do I keep myself busy? First of all, I would like to give you my schedule, daily schedule, which I normally try to follow religiously whenever I have time. I wake up about 5:30 in the morning, and immediately I wake up, I dress up to go walking or jogging. And that's a habit I've developed over many years, probably from the 1990s. So after I go for a jog. It depends on the time I have. Sometimes I could go for a jog or a walk, call them jogging and walking, for about an hour. I could do it for 45 minutes, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on the time I have. When I finish, I come back to the house, I take a shower, I try to swing my legs and shake my head, because I was told by somebody that I have to shake my head because cancer can also come through your neck.
Oh.
Because through lymph nodes.
Oh, through the lymph nodes.
Through the lymph
Also
nodes.
you relax.
Yes, so I relax it.
Okay.
Like that.
I also make sure I relax my legs to make sure that it doesn't come from there. I do a lot of bedding, I do a lot of press-ups, I do a lot of anything to do with making my body active everywhere.
Okay.
This is after the walk.
After the walk, yes.
Okay.
Before I take a shower.
Okay.
After that, I take my shower. Then I come down here for breakfast. Then after that, I head to the office. Hey, guys listening, don't think that I spend all my day in the house. I have an office downtown where I go. I don't know whether I go to work or to first find out what my children are doing, but I go. There, my main purpose is to take tea or coffee or generally enjoy myself, but also finding out how they are doing in whatever responsibilities they have.
Okay.
Then at 10 o'clock I have a cup of tea, and that cup of tea must include something to bite.
Okay.
I used to love bread very much when I was younger. I still love it. So it is very difficult for me to control myself and avoid it. But so once in a while I have a bite of bread, but otherwise at that time I only take duma or nuts or gouache. That is arrowroots and sweet potatoes. Sometimes I also refuse to take all that and I just take nuts. I have a secretary who is supervised by one of my children, and she makes sure that I have that kind of bite in mid-morning. At lunchtime, I normally go to Parkland Sports Club for both lunch and a bit of exercise, or I go to the United Killer Club for lunch and then go to Parkland Sports Club for the exercise. What do I eat for lunchtime? I prefer taking ugali with nyeni, sukuma wiki, managu, and whatever else. I must mention and emphasize here that I avoid taking meats, whether white or red, as much as possible. But once in a while, I do take a bit of fish, and once in a while, I take a bit of white or red meat. But this comes in very rarely. So in the afternoon, after lunch, I take a bit of break of about 5-10 minutes, and then decide what I want to do. Depending on whether I had run very much in the morning, I might decide to just swim and not do anything else. But if I've just have in the morning, I have done what I normally like doing in full, I have not done what I wanted to do in full, I just go and swim, and then after that end up in Parklands Club, jogging grounds. I jog, and I mix it up with a bit of walking. And then after I finish that, I also go to the gym, where again I do a bit of fresh ups, a bit of pulling the legs, doing the rope, and so on and so forth. So that's what I do.
How many laps in the pool do you do typically?
Depending on the time I have, I do a minimum of 10 laps and a maximum of 20.
Okay.
There was a time when I was younger, I used to do up to 30. But I do not do 30 anymore.
Okay.
I just do 20. Most of the time I make sure I finish 20, but if I don't have time, I do a minimum of 10. Then after that I go to the pool, and it's very convenient because once you are in the pool, when you go back to the washing rooms, you just wear a sweatshirt. You can go jogging with a cold or a wet swimming costume because it dries up very quickly. The moment you do the first round, it has already dried it up. So you don't have to struggle taking it out. So what I just do is put on my socks, put on my jogging shoes, and I'm in the field without wasting time.
Okay.
So I go there, and I like doing 10 laps, but sometimes again I don't have the time. Or sometimes I tell my body, no, you have already overdone it in the morning, just do 5. Just do 6, just do 8. And then when I finish, I also now need to go back to the clubhouse and take a shower. But oftentimes, when there is time, I find myself going to the gym up there to do the pulling of the legs and the what, and pulling of the rope, and so on and so forth. Then after that, I go home. That's in a nutshell how I spend my afternoons.
A typical day for you.
Yeah. In the evening, I tell my house servant to make sure that I have a diet full of vegetables, a little bit of fruit. Oftentimes I forget to take my fruits, and a little bit of bosho, jahe, and maybe a piece of waru or half waru, half potato, depending on how my sugar levels are. Oftentimes I check on my sugar before I eat, so that I don't overdo my feeding. After that, then I sit here and watch my TV. Sometimes watch my TV since I'm writing my book and also looking at my book and try to refine it as much as possible. It has taken forever to do that book, but I think I'm getting to its completion. I'm getting somewhere now, because I'm just revising and seeing where I've repeated myself or where I've put in something where it should not be there. It should be either earlier or right behind. I am just reorganizing it.
Okay.
Then after that, I like going to bed between 8:30 and 9. Sometimes I find myself going to bed about 8:15. And at that time I sleep very well. If I go to bed after 9:30, 10, I may not have enough sleep. So I try to go to bed as early as possible.
Because you also get up very early.
And because I also get up very early. If I try to get to bed late, I find myself being very reluctant to wake up and go and jog in the morning. So I make it my habit trying to go to bed as early as I can.
So sleep is very important.
Yeah.
Good quality sleep.
Yeah, I think, the sleep is very critical for you at my age. I would like to give you a scenario of what happened when I started jogging at Parklands. First of all, I must give you my background. Me, when I was younger, I was a maringara. Do you know what a maringara is? Maringara, I don't know whether it's a word that I got from school. But when you are a maringara, when I was going to school, is when you are avoiding to do any exercise. Whenever children are told to go exercise, you go from behind, you don't want to do exercise. You don't want to go play football. You don't want to play tent quite.
You are a skiver.
I am an escaper.
Okay.
I used to escape. The only exercise I did was playing volleyball when I went to high school. And I was good at it. I had a sympathizer who always made sure he's my cheerleader. Because I also cheered him when he played his football, soccer. But, so I was a maringara. And I therefore never did exercise. And so, I became diabetic way back in 1980. And I was having diabetes up to 1980 without doing anything about it as far as exercise is concerned. But towards the 1980s, a friend of mine told me, because of my condition and because I was busy in the office, I must not sit in the office throughout, and then in the evening I go and sit without doing some exercise. His name is John Gadara, who is my old friend for a long time. I was very reluctant, but he said, no, it doesn't matter. I want to introduce you to one of the clubs where you can go for a gym, but their gym is not very sophisticated, so you need to get somebody else to take you to Parkland Sports Club, where their gym is very sophisticated. I was very reluctant, and I felt like he was bothering me. But eventually, I agreed. He introduced me to United Killer Club. Then he introduced me to somebody to introduce me to Parkland Sports. And I went and became a member of those two clubs. And immediately, that was 1986-87, immediately I became a member of Parkland Sports Club. My children and their mother used to go there every Saturday morning, and I think even Saturday morning, and do something there. So my friends used to tell me, what are you doing in the house when your children go to do exercises and then you are left here in Sunday morning? So they used to go there after church. But me, I'm not a good church goer. So I would be left in the house. I would be left there. Then sometimes some of my friends would come to my house and they find me sleeping on the couch in the sitting room. I don't sleep in bed. Even here, I don't sleep in bed during the afternoons. I just sleep on the couch you found me here in. So they would find me and tell me, what are you doing? Your children and your wife are up in Parklands Club. I saw them. And you are still here. Yeah. I told them, yeah, because they are not thinking about the future. Me, I'm thinking about the future by staying here. And they would start very interesting arguments. One of them at one time found me and told me, you are still here. Do you know you can get sick by being in the house throughout? Even over the weekend, you don't go anywhere. I told him not to disturb me. He said, no, you need to be doing exercise. Just wake up and go. Even if you're not doing exercise, just get the hell out of the house over Saturday and Sunday. So he encouraged me to start joining my children. And I started going to the club. But even when I started going to the club, I was just going to enjoy my tea and my coffee because I like those. I used to like those stuff, that stuff. Most of the time, I used to like my tea. I used to like my coffee. At one time, at the beginning of my current business, the fragility of my businesses, I used to take about 3 thermoses of tea in a whole day. 2 in the morning, 2 thermoses in the morning, 1 in the evening. And even when I came home, I used to take a lot of tea. So that's what I used to do when I went to Parklands. Then all of a sudden, one of my friends came and told me, look, you don't just have to come and take tea here and coffee. After all, can't your wife make tea and coffee for you there in your house? I said, yes, but I also want to come here and join people. But you don't just come and join people here to take tea and coffee. At least do something. Go to the sauna, go to the gym, go to
The track.
track and jog. I told him he should have also said something else because I know how to swim. He should also tell me to swim. Even that go and do. Why do you want me to buy you? That's a Mr. Kebali. Do you want me to buy you a swimming costume? No, I have many of them. Why don't you swim then? Leave me alone. So eventually, that guy came back again and said, today we need to go and walk. So we came out and we started walking. But by the time we did the first 100 meters, I wanted to go back. But he got me by hand and told me, no, I was on his left. You cannot go back, let's go. Na akanipull, tukaenda.
Yes.
By the time I finished 200, I really wanted to go back.
Meters.
But 200 meters, I was feeling very tired, extremely tired. And I was sweating, imagine. And it was in the evening. Then he pulled me until I got to the 300 meters. Then he said to me, now that you are here, you can either go back, you still have done more than round the field, or you can also finish there at that corner. Where do you want to go? I looked at both distances and decided to go that way, 200 meters, because I had done 3. Then when we got there, he again pulled me and wanted to be a second one lap. And I said no. And no, and I was very angry that he was pulling me. I went back to the club and started having my coffee and my tea until the evening when I came home. But that night, when I woke up, I felt like I had slept well. So quietly I decided I will not tell anybody. Less pressure is applied to me too much, but I'll try to go back there this evening. So I went. And when I went back, I did the first lap. I did the second lap. Walking. And a third lap. I don't know whether I did 2 or 3, but I did one of those. When I finished, again that night I did much better. And I then and then I started coming regularly. Did 4, did 5. Eventually I found myself doing 10. And eventually, because there were so many people going around all the time running, I started wanting to run. I would do 50 meters, I would stop, walk a bit, another 50 meters, walk a bit, and we would finish. Then eventually, I saw people like they were overtaking me as if I'm not moving. So I started improving on my speed gradually. Until I now formed the habit of going there and doing my 10 laps. Then I realized that I was also good in swimming. These guys there was a time I was sent abroad to go and work in the Kenya's Ministry of Tourism. I had deliberately ensured that they also learned how to swim. In the course of them learning how to swim, I also learned. Although I took longer than them. Learning how to swim.
As it goes.
Because they were also being taught swimming in school, so it was much easier for them. Me, I'm an old man, and now I'm learning how to swim. But nevertheless, I learned how to swim, and gradually, when I went back to Parklands, I improved on my strokes. Today, I'm able to do not less than 10 laps at a time. That's the minimum I do, but I normally like doing 20. But if I don't have time, I can do 10.
So you do what stroke when you swim? You do
Breaststroke.
Okay.
Breaststroke. These are the one. Breaststroke and freestyle.
Okay.
I do those 2. I do those 2 very well. I have no problem with them. The backstroke I tried. There was a time I used to do it, but like now there was a time I had a break. Now I'm not able to do it smoothly, but I can still do it because I know the style. The guy who trained me swimming, he's still a very good swimmer, even after doing he used to, but Ali, you know Ali Mazoa. So because of that, I have variety in terms of the games that I do. I used also to go to the sauna, but I discovered there you are just going to sleep and nothing else. So I don't go to the sauna myself. So I go to the swimming pool, I go to the field, I go to the gym, and in the gym, surprise of surprise, I go there. Even after I've done so much work in the field, I find myself staying there for half an hour and an hour. And sometimes when I'm coming from there, I don't want to come because I'm enjoying some of the tumors that I pull, especially for my legs, because my legs are having challenges here. Therefore, I like especially exercising the one here. Therefore, you cannot exercise one alone. You have to do both of them.
Yeah, true.
I think in a nutshell, I've told you too much, but
No,
you can
it's
ask
okay.
any more questions.
So TK, thanks for sharing that with us. Tell us, what has the exercise done for you? You've obviously been doing it now for years, like
For
since
35 years.
35 years consistently and intentionally. So what has it done for you? Because obviously,
I don't think I can really begin to explain well enough what doing exercises have helped me and has transformed me. One, I don't know how to describe myself, but I was not a very fast worker. And sometimes I felt muddled up in decision making. But the moment I started doing exercises, I found myself very fast in decision making, very alert when I go to meetings, very good memory in remembering even some small details, and so on and so forth. Secondly, I'm also able to work without feeling like I'm under pressure. I take life in my stride. I don't feel that I'm under pressure. I'm also able to think through my problems very clearly and sometimes to make very difficult decisions, which I probably, when I look back, I found it very difficult to make without consulting other people. I can also say that even when it comes to interacting with other people, I don't feel bored by anybody because I decide I will not be bored by anybody. If somebody wants to come and tell me stories and I don't like them, I just keep quiet without being rude to him. I just let him talk and let him be, even if I don't like his story. So there are so many things that when I look back, I feel exercises have done to me. I think also exercises have helped me to do my businesses and to also be very aggressive in such a way that if I decide I want to go this way, even if I have things blocking me, I continue going and deal with whatever problems that are confronting me and try to seek help from my friends or from non-friends officially so that I can solve my problems.
So you don't like you basically it has helped you be very determined. Like
it's given me a lot of determination.
Okay.
It has helped me
to
focus on what I want to do, irrespective of the challenges. Because let me tell you, those who may in future listen to those you call it podcast.
Podcast, yes.
Podcasts.
Yes.
Whatever you do in life, you have challenges. Because this life is full of challenges. And some people think that because you are very comfortable, you don't have challenges. Remember, even waking up to go to work is a challenge. But when you are doing exercises, you wake up and you decide to go. You do it very quickly. You eat very quickly because you have your breakfast very quickly because you know you have an agenda. It has made me think positively about life and about my life and about my future, very, very positively. So that's what I can say. Maybe I cannot even describe enough in words what exercises have done for me. They have done so much for me. Like I say, I cannot even begin to explain. I found myself a very changed man. I found myself probably a more active person and more decisive than when I was younger. That was so very interesting. I wish I started doing these exercises when I was younger. And therefore, I would like to tell those who are listening today to not be lazy. Wake up and do your exercises and be as regular as you can possibly do.
Consistent.
And be as regular and consistently as you can possibly be with your exercise. And you find yourself enjoying life the best way that you can. You find yourself enjoying your children, your family, and everybody else. That's not to say that I don't disagree with them, with my children. I do. But we also study their ground and we discuss. Are we talking? So that's what I would like to say.
You mentioned that you started off as a result of being pushed by your friend to join a club, but somewhere in between there was your diabetes, and you say, you know, perhaps you should have, do you feel you should have started earlier in terms of taking care, you know, that advice that your friends were trying to get you out of the house, and I think it was also disrupting your sleep patterns, but with exercise you were able, you told us a little bit about this earlier on. You know, what do you say, again, you've also encouraged the young people to come out and start exercising now, but for yourself, in terms of when you started?
First, I would like to say that I wish I knew when I was younger how good exercise is to a human body. Because probably I think I would not have been in this condition of diabetes. I would probably not have had a high blood pressure. Because even today I realize that whenever I've done exercises, I end up taking less medicine for diabetes than I normally take. I end up taking less medicines for high blood pressure than I normally do. The other condition I'm in is that I'm asthmatic. I have something I'm supposed to inhale something for asthma. But I find I don't have to do it every day. I probably have to do that once a week. For high blood pressure medicine, I'm supposed to take one tablet of Twinstar, originally twice a day. Today I take just half a tablet of Twinstar once a day. And when I check on my high blood pressure, I find it's still normal. Sometimes I check after going through a lot of challenges and I think it's up there. And I come and find that's normal again. I normally, unless anybody thinks that it's probably because I don't check, I check on my sugars and my high pressure twice a day. At least my diabetes twice a day. Morning and evening. And I find most of the time, especially when I've done exercise, they are completely normal. And that way I'm able to enjoy my meals without fearing that I'm overeating or undereating. High blood pressure, of course, you mix that a bit of also taking fruit. It's also well controlled, so I cannot complain. Now I started taking half a tablet about 6 months ago. And now because it has reached a point where it is always normal, I'm getting to a point where I need to ask the doctor whether I can stop it off or take half a tablet one every 2 days. Half a tablet once every 2 days, and then we go on. All this, I imagine, has happened because of my consistency in my doing exercise. And by the way, I must mention to you, at one time, Dr. Nyambura had tried me to go back to tablets for diabetes instead of taking insulin, because I take insulin. But when we tried it 2 weeks, it did not work, so I went back to diabetics. But I now only take 2 units of insulin, morning and evening, sometimes even 1 unit of insulin.
Wow.
Which according to Nyambura, when you are taking that, you can even stop taking insulin and you go to tablets. But we still try again so that I can stop taking insulin.
Wow.
That's what exercise has done for me.
And so, TK, you will continue. For you, you would encourage anyone who hasn't started to start?
Yes, I would really like, let me say it for myself, I would really like to encourage people, both old and young, because I hear the young people say if they are not able to, it's not necessary for them to do it. After all, they are very active. But I would like to encourage them to take exercise regularly. Even if they are busy, they should focus on they are being busy during the day, but provide time for yourself to do some exercise. And this is good for you if you are young, if you are a family man or family woman, because you'll be able to ensure that you have a long life to be with your children, to be with your family. Because I have seen some friends of mine, they decide to avoid doing exercise and they stay on, and all of a sudden you see them having a stroke and having a problem that will be there with them forever. So I would like to encourage people to really take their exercise seriously. As for people of my generation, I think for you, ladies and gentlemen, who have not taken to exercise, I think it's imperative for you to take exercise seriously, because it may end up giving you 1 or 2 days longer, prolonging your life by 1 or 2 days. You know what I mean.
That's great. So we really appreciated your time this afternoon. We are inspired, we are challenged, and I'm sure so are our viewers and our podcast followers. So we are honored to be in company of such a great man who's taken care of himself and is able to pass on this knowledge. And we hope, and we are following in your footsteps, to sit at 82 and beyond and talk in the same way. Years to come. So thank you, TK.
Thank you so much, ladies. You are welcome. It's also my privilege to have your company this afternoon. Normally at this time I'm having my nap, but today is a different day, so I don't mind. Thank you so much. So I'm not telling you to go. If you have other questions to ask, you can ask.
No, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you to our viewers. You've heard it here. Start. As if you're young, start. If you're older, start. It's important. It helps. So I hope this has inspired you. And thanks again. Like, share, follow. This is Baiskeli Stories. See you soon.